Everyone, welcome to the When It Worked podcast. You're with your host, Julian Lee. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Bourgeois. Is that how I pronounce your name, Jeremy?
It is, yeah. Impressive.
Bourgeois. Sounds very ritzy. All right, we're going to play Jeoparty. We're supposed to have another guest, but I'm going to be the other contestant this time. And I promise you I haven't seen the answers. Or maybe I saw one answer, something like that, but that won't matter. All right, are you ready, Jeremy?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Okay. Jeremy, you can kick things off. The categories are musical instruments, nursery rhymes, science starts with a G, the law, and trivia.
Okay, let's do musical instruments. $300.
Musical instruments, 300. The two instruments associated with the Smothers brothers, which was an old show.
Oof.
Yikes. Yeah, they were comedians and they played instruments.
Oof. I've never even heard of the Smothers brothers.
Okay. You were not born when they were around, I guarantee
it. Probably not.
All right, well, this is actually the question that I did look at, so I'm not going to answer it. It's actually guitar and bass. But you're still in control, Jeremy. What would you like?
Okay, perfect. Let's do trivia for $100.
Trivia for 100. The name of Hitler's dog or Deborah Harry's singing group.
Oh boy.
You know Deborah Harry?
No, no. Never heard of her.
Okay.
That must be another. Is that another old one?
Well, yeah, this is an old one, but if you're a music head, you would know this one. It's the only reason I know the answer to this. I don't know Hitler's dog, but I know the band is called Blondie. So I'll give myself some points for that one.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually did know that one without cheating. All right, I'm going to take control now. I'll do nursery rhymes for 100. Hurdler who was nimble and quick. Now, I think we had a nursery rhyme called Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. So I would say Jack. Do you have any idea, Jeremy?
No, that's the best. Yeah, let's roll.
Do you have that one in the States, that nursery rhyme?
Maybe. It's been a while since I've heard a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, true. Not for a long time. Yes, I got that one correct. All right, I'm still in control. I'll go the law, 300. This is American law. The 14th Amendment protects against being deprived of life, liberty, and property without this. I got no idea. If you can steal this one, the 14th Amendment protects against being deprived of life, liberty, or property without something.
Let's see. No, I'm gonna take a pass.
Due process of law. All right, I'm still in control. I'm going to go science for 300. Intact DNA was recently extracted from one of these ancient royal relics. I don't know. Do you have any idea, Jeremy? They pulled DNA out of something. Now, if it had DNA, it had to either be... Do you want to have a guess?
If it's an ancient royal relic, I'm just trying to think of what civilization that would even be tied to. I mean, yeah, now you can go ahead and show it.
It is a mummy. Now I did actually. That's one of the other ones I saw. That's why I didn't jump in because I knew the answer. So. But I didn't. I did. Had to be that one, didn't it? All right. Well, I'm still in control. I'm going to go with science for 400. Tracking these, the Coast Guard rates them as burgy bits, growlers, small, medium, and large. Coast Guard sounds a bit military. Do you have any idea?
I mean, I would say boat.
Boat?
Yeah, or some kind of ship. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say planes. Let's see. Icebergs. All right, neither of us. Well,
Bergy bits.
Bergy bits. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with musical instruments for 200. Class of instruments to which the flute belongs. I think it's woodwinds, even though it's not wood.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Woodwind. Okay, that's correct.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with, starts with a G for 300. Member of the iris family with as many as 25 flowers on a single spike. So this is a flower. The only flower with a G that I know is geranium. Do you have any idea? Do you want to have a guess at anything?
No. No, I think you got
gladiola. I was wrong. All right.
Wow, you're smoking me.
I'm still in control. I've only got 400 points. It's not much. All right, we'll go science for 200. If you know, jump in. Around for 400 million years, there are now more than 2,000 species of these pesky cricket cousins.
Cockroaches?
Okay, I'm going to go grasshoppers. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Cockroaches is correct. There we go. Jeremy's on the board, 200 points, and you're in control now.
All right. Okay, let's do musical instruments for $100.
$100 musical instruments. Member of the lute family mentioned in the lyrics of Oh Susanna. The lute.
The lute family? Oh boy.
I think
I don't know.
the lute is these kind of old-fashioned types of guitar. You know,
Yeah.
These old dudes, old monks would play. I would say, I'm going to say mandolin.
I'll say harp.
Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah, but
The banjo. Neither of us got that
banjo.
one. Well, I was barking up the right tree with the guitar type things. You're still
Yeah.
in control, Jeremy.
all right, let's just keep going with the musical instruments. Let's do 400.
400 musical instruments. Instrumental title of this only instrumental #1 hit of 1959. This is an old song. Instrumental. Okay, from those eras, they had this type of Brazilian, you know that the Spanish flea or the baby elephant. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that at the baseball. You know, I'm gonna do Spanish flea. Let's take a look.
Let's see.
The happy organ. Have you heard of that one?
No. Nope.
That sounds like somebody on their honeymoon. All right, Jeremy, you're still in control.
All right, musical instruments, $500.
$500. If you put J. Arthur Rank's Donald Duck and Chuck Barris together, you might have a bonang. What? Donald Duck. Okay, so it's maybe to do with the sound of Donald Duck. What sounds like Donald Duck as an instrument?
I have no idea.
I'll give you a clue. You know that thing that your kids blow on?
A recorder?
Alright, I'm going to go kazoo.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm wrong. It's a gong. You're still in control.
Alright. Let's do starts with a G for $100.
Starts with a G, 100. Command to old Dobbin to make him go faster. Starts with a G.
Mush.
A command.
Oh, yeah, definitely not that. To make him go faster.
And
go.
Yeah, go. I'm not gonna say go because go's already there where they say make him go faster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say giddy up.
Oh yeah, that's probably it.
Giddy up is right.
Yeah.
Well done. I promise you, I did not know the answers to that. All right, I'm in control. I'll go with trivia for 200. The only two letters not on a telephone dial. You would not have probably ever seen a telephone dial, Jeremy, have you?
Well, they had them on the flip phones. The only two letters not on a telephone. I thought they had all of them though.
I wouldn't know. Can't remember. So, I think they had 3 letters on each button, didn't they? And they must.
Yeah, and then they had
must
4 letters on
have
buttons.
had 1, 2, 3. I think they had 12 numbers. So 12 times 3 would be 36. How many letters in the alphabet are there? 26 or
26.
I don't know. I'm getting myself confused. Let's take a look. Q and Z. Well, that's useless information. Alright,
Yep.
the law. Oh no. The Fifth Amendment guards against both self-incrimination and this segment of our show.
The right to remain silent?
Our show.
Would that be it?
One of the rounds of this show on TV, the TV version.
Yep.
The Fifth Amendment guards against both self-incrimination and double jeopardy.
Oh, okay.
Meaning you can't be convicted of something you got made not guilty of. Is that right? Like if they they find new evidence, like they find a bloody knife under your bed and you're already got off, then they can't then re-prosecute, which would be pretty handy if you had done it. All right. I think I'm in control. I'm going to go Nursery Rhymes 300. Her dog dies in the second verse, probably from malnutrition. Now, what's that? Give a dog a bone. Old Mary Hubbard went to the Hubbard to give her dog a bone. I'm going to go Old Mary Hubbard.
Okay.
Old Mother Hubbard.
Okay.
No. Would you pay that?
Yeah, sure. That's close enough.
Why not? We're not exactly playing for sheep stations, as they say in Australia. I'm in control. Okay, science for 500. 3-letter suffix used to form chemical terms, especially names of sugars and other carbohydrates. 3-letter suffix. So sugars and carbohydrates. I'm going to say GLU for glucose. Any idea? Did you do physics or chemistry or no chemistry?
Not since high school. So no, let's.
I never did it. Let's
do that.
It's os. So you put os on the end. If I knew what a suffix meant, I would.
Oh, yeah, not a prefix, right?
Yeah.
Oops.
Oopsie. Everyone knows I'm a dummy from watching this. Starts with a G200, an early warship propelled by oars. Now it's just a kitchen on a ship.
Galley.
The military training has come in. Let's have a look at the scores. 900 versus 400. You're still very much in touch here. You're in control now, Jeremy.
Okay, let's do trivia for 400.
Trivia for 400. Until November 3, 1930, this was the name of the Bank of America. Capice or Capice or Capice? Is that Capice? I don't know. Until November 3, 1930, this was the name of the Bank of America. So the Bank of America used to be called probably something like the Bank of New York before it was... Where's Wall Street?
Yeah.
New York?
Yeah, it's in New York City, yep.
Well, I'm going to go Bank of New York. You have a guess?
Wall Street Bank.
Wall Street Bank. Let's take a look. Bank of Italy. Okay.
Oh, that was off.
Well, that's where all the Italians in New York probably banked. All right, let's stop that line of thought before I get in trouble. Who's in control? I think you're in control because you got Galley. What would you like?
Let's do science for 100.
Science for 100. One who'll give you blood or the kidney off his back. Somebody who'll give blood or their kidney.
A donor? Yeah.
Let's take
donor.
a look.
Yeah.
Donor is correct. Here comes Jeremy.
All right.
It's Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
Jeremy Bourgeois. Okay. What would you like?
Let's do the law for 200.
The law for 200. matrimony by agreement of both parties without a civil or religious ceremony.
Oh,
Without a civil ceremony. Oh, okay.
Eloping?
Okay, well, I don't know if you have this in America. These are all American answers, but in Australia we call it de facto. Do you have that?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but I'll just say eloping. I don't think that's it, but that's because it's not like a law.
Common law. Both of us are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, who's in charge? I can't remember. You are.
I think it's me still.
You still.
All right, let's do starts with G for 500.
Starts with the G for 500. Refers to the moon when it's more than half but not completely full.
More
than half.
I don't want to say waxing or waning. Gibbous?
Gibbous, okay. One of my kids told me, he looked at the moon and he said, it's a beaver moon. I don't know what that means, but that's what he told me. Let's take a look.
All right.
Gibbous is correct. I'll Gibbous you some points. 1,000 points.
Right.
900.
Okay. Let's do the last starts with G.
Starts with a G, 400. Inflammation of the gums.
Gingivitis.
Gingivitis is correct. Well done.
Nice.
I think.
All right. Let's see. Trivia for 500?
Trivia for 500. Jeremy Bourgeois.
Yeah.
Lieutenant George Patton lost a medal in the 1912 Olympics due to poor scores in this warlike skill. So he was expected to be good at it. He didn't get a medal. Lieutenant George Patton.
Boxing, maybe? No, wrestling?
This is another one I did see the answer to, so I do know the answer. It is shooting, but I'm not going to jump in because I didn't. That would be cheating. All right, you're still in control. What would you like, Jeremy?
Let's do trivia for 300.
Trivia 300. The only one of 7 dwarfs without a beard, though he was probably too stupid to notice. Which was the stupid one?
Oh, this is from Snow White, right?
Yeah. So we had sneezy,
I don't even know. No
sneezy,
idea.
sleepy, grumpy. Probably there was a happy one.
Let's see. No, I don't know.
Let's take a look. I don't know either. Dopey. All right, you're still in control. What would you like?
Let's do the law for 400.
The law for 400, once applied to slaves, it's the general legal term for items of personal property. I know this one. Once applied to slaves. Now we just use it to talk about personal property. In auctions, I've heard this used.
Estate?
It's actually, I think it's Chateau, yeah, okay. Okay, nursery rhymes for 200, Julian. What little Tommy Tucker vocalizes for?
No idea.
Well, you know what? In Australia, we have a slang term for a dinner called tucker, and I reckon it's going to be little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. Supper's correct.
Nice.
Yeah. And you know, at the canteen at school, you know what they call that? They call it the tuck shop in Australia. Interesting, useless information from the host. All right, nursery rhymes 400. They cost 1 a penny, 2 a penny. What? 1 a penny, 2 a penny, 3 a penny more. No, I'm thinking that's that banana split song.
I have no idea.
Okay, let's go with candy. Hot cross buns. Do you have that nursery rhyme? Hot cross buns. I've heard of it. I don't know the words.
Doesn't even sound familiar at all to me.
Okay, you missed the nursery rhymes. Product reserved
Yeah.
in bags for the master, the dame, and the little boy. I know this one.
All right, you go ahead then.
I think it's wool, bags of wool, or is it?
Oh,
It's either wool or hay. I'm going to go with wool. Wool it is. Okay.
yeah.
All right, last question. The law 500, not a pardon which lifts punishment. It differs by barring prosecution. So it's instead of like you get pardoned, which means you are not going to go to jail, but you're not going to get prosecuted. So,
I know this one.
Is it a dismissal, or is it what is it? What about those? It's some sort of like guilt. It's like a guilty plea, but not really. Or
I know
almonds, or what is it? Oh man, I can't remember. You got anything?
I know.
Alford plea. Amnesty. Bugger. All right, what do we got? 2,000 versus 1,400. I won that one. Big deal. Well, let's have a round of applause to Jeremy Bourgeois for playing all by himself. Yay. All right, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about your story, 5 years in the Marines, and then you turned it into a successful real estate business. Why?
Sure.
Why did you do it, and how did you do it?
Yeah. So, which part, or just the whole thing in general?
Well, when you got out of the Marines and you're thinking, what am I going to do? Why did real estate tickle your fancy? And what did you know about it? How did you buy your first property? Tell us about your first property you bought.
Sure. Yeah. So, when I was getting out, like in the process of exiting the Marines, I had a buddy who was back at home who was looking to get into real estate. And we were pretty close. He was one of my only friends who I had stayed friends with, throughout school, throughout my time in the Marines and all that. And he was pretty excited about real estate and entrepreneurship in general, going and creating something for himself and doing all this stuff. And it got me kind of excited because I was back on leave and I was hanging out with him. And, because of that kind of catapulted me into starting to learn and just, taking all kinds of knowledge, reading books, listening to podcasts about real estate and just learning as much as I could. And so that set me up so that as soon as I got out of the military, I was able to buy my first property. And I actually bought my first property with him. We bought a fourplex and we basically lived in one of the apartments and we rented out the other three, and we had to go through and renovate each of those units because they were a little bit outdated. And that was kind of our first step into it. We just kind of jumped right in. And
what year was it? What was the market like when you bought it?
Yeah, that was in 2020. So it was right before, I think we bought it, like we closed on the house the same month that COVID started. So it was kind of a crazy time, and it actually worked out really well for us because, here in America, our appreciation went crazy in the first couple of years, like 2020 and 2021. Property values just skyrocketed.
That's good because what I was thinking was during COVID they had that kind of rent thing where if you couldn't pay the rent, you weren't allowed to go through the normal process of evictions. Did any of that cause any problems for you?
It actually didn't really, no. I mean, when we bought the property, we had some tenants who weren't paying. It was, we had some who we basically just had to go and we had to turn over some of those units. But it was never a huge issue for us. We knew that we were going to have problems that we were going to have to deal with. And we just went and we dealt with it directly with the tenants. We just showed up to the house. And,
when you're living there, it's quite good. You can bang on the wall and go, "Hey, where's the money?"
Yeah. Well, we weren't living there yet. We
Oh,
actually, it took us about a year before we moved in, because there were tenants in there and everything. And they also, the other thing that they had at that time, so there was the one side where, as a tenant, you could get away with not paying your rent and all that. But as a landlord, you could also apply for forbearance, which basically means you don't have to make a mortgage payment. So there was that as well. So
did you
it
have to
was
do
never.
that?
We did it for a little while, yeah, because
So
we had
they
some
just
tenants
push
who
it
weren't.
back, and there's no other penalties or extra fees.
Yeah,
Just nothing. You just get to have a couple of weeks off, and then everything just extends from that period.
yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
that's
They
handy.
just basically tack it on to the end. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. I don't think. I mean, unless you're in a, I'm sure that they might in certain situations, but it's not anywhere near as widespread as it was in 2020.
Mm. Well, that's amazing. And the good thing is that the property appreciated quickly. So, worst case scenario, you might be able to flick it. Obviously, there was a bit of demand there, so you might have been able to sell it, 1 or 2 years after you bought it and come out pretty much even. And then,
Mhm.
have you still got that property?
No, we actually sold it last year. I wanted to hold on to it, but my partner wanted to sell it. So that was actually back in Connecticut, and I had moved out to Utah a couple of years ago. So since he was the boots on the ground, I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and sell it then, because he was the one local to the area, and we didn't have really any property management there. So we sold it, but we did really well on it.
What did you make? If I can ask, after paying out the loan, how much equity did you have in your pocket each?
Sure. So we both pocketed about 100,000 after we closed. We bought it, which is a great return after only holding it for a couple of years. We bought it for 250 in 2020, and we kind of just rode the appreciation wave. Also, that local market was seeing some really solid gains, and
That's
we
incredible that you could get a fourplex for 250 in Connecticut. That's amazing. Seems like a good buy.
yeah. Yeah, it was a great buy. I mean, you couldn't do that anymore. That's just not, you wouldn't be able to get that kind of a deal at this point. But
You wouldn't
unless
be able
you
to get a
really,
shed in my city for that money.
yeah, same here. Yeah, same here.
Awesome. And then when did you go into well, tell us a bit about what you're doing with Scout Peak and also wholesaling, because I've had some guests on that do this, and not a lot of people know about it. What is wholesaling, and who is it for?
Sure. So just to break it down very simply, all wholesaling is it's a different type of exit strategy on a real estate deal. So you can fix and flip a property. If you're fix and flipping it, selling the property itself, that's the exit strategy. Or if you're fixing it up to rent out, say you buy it and then you fix it up and you refinance, the refinance is your exit strategy. So when you're wholesaling, your exit strategy is to not even close on the property at all. You're assigning the contract. So, say I go to John and I say, "Hey, John, I'll pay you, $100,000 for your house," and I have a buyer who would pay, say, $120,000 for that house. So I'll write up a contract with John that says we will buy this house for $100,000, and then I'll go to the guy who will buy it for 120,000, and I'll say, "Hey, I'll give you this contract for this house for $120,000." And then between that 100 to that 120 is basically what's called an assignment fee. So I would keep that assignment fee, and that's basically what wholesaling is.
So
Is you're
you
just
get the 20K clear and free,
yes.
and do you need to have? Somebody told me you don't need to have a real estate license for this. I don't understand how this is how you can do this.
Yeah, you don't need a real estate license to do it at all. It helps, I think. I do have my real estate license. and it helps in certain areas.
Just like a seller's license or a full agent license?
Yeah, just a full real estate license. I'm licensed here in Utah.
So you
And
could
what
run
that
an
does,
agency, a brokerage, if you wanted to.
yeah, exactly. And we
Okay.
do listings as well. So that's the reason that's good to have a license is because a lot of people aren't going to be a good fit to sell their house to you at a wholesale price. Most people are going to want full market value for it. So when it comes to that type of situation, then it might be a better situation for a listing. So you could probably help them out on that side of things
Yes,
too.
that's a very good, ability that you've got. Is if maybe you end up can even just get a listing out of it, then you're still going to make money on it. The question I've got is the person that you think will want to buy this property for 120. Have they seen the property?
Yeah, usually what we'll do is, I mean, not always. We've wholesaled properties where the buyers have bought them sight unseen. Usually those are at a pretty steep discount. So most people will want to see the properties that they're buying first. So what we'll do is we'll put the house under contract, say at 100,000, and we'll have a due diligence period. So say we have a week of due diligence. Within that week, that's basically our time to say, yes, we're moving forward, or no, we're backing out. And during that week, we'll schedule walkthroughs with buyers who will walk in, take a look at the property and see if they want to purchase it or not.
I've got a couple of questions for you, if that's all right, Jeremy.
Sure.
And when you buy the property, and you do write on the contract, subject to me being able to flip it for 120.
So basically, what the language that we put in there is just that we can assign this contract, and we don't need the. So we basically put in there that we can assign the contract with no further written consent from the seller. So that basically gives us the ability, the freedom of movement, if you will, to go and assign it for whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 20,000.
Yeah.
We can go and do as we see fit on it.
So, do you switch the contracts over, or do you have to wait for it to settle until it's in your name and then redo it?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, you've got this original person that you've approached, and you've said, "I'll give you $100,000 for your property," and then you write it up. Do you need to wait? I mean, over here it takes like 30 days for it to settle, and then the owner gets the 100,000, and then you get the deeds in your name. Then do you assign it, or can you assign it before it's even settled and you fully own it yet?
Yeah, so you definitely you can do it both ways. You can do what's called a double close, or you can just do a standard contract assignment. Usually we do a standard contract assignment because a double close comes with more fees. So what that looks like is basically I have the contract with the seller, so for that $100,000, and then I will have a separate contract with the buyer that outlines the assignment fee and ties that to the seller. So they basically assume all of the rights of the contract. So they'll be reviewing the contract as well, making sure everything looks good. And then when it comes time to close, whether that's in 1 week, 2 weeks, or a month, they'll send in the full amount. So they'll send in the $120,000, and then the title company, they'll see the contract paperwork, and then they will just send me the $20,000.
Oh, okay, cool, gotcha. So there's two separate contracts, and the title, we call them settlement agent or real estate lawyer, will understand, and they will see both contracts.
Yes.
And
yep. Exactly.
And then they will take a fee on both contracts, and then send you the remainder less the settlement fees. Is that right?
Yeah, usually we don't see any of the fees. So whatever the assignment fee is basically what we get, unless we put in any earnest money or whatever marketing dollars we had to put in to get the deal. That's kind of what's coming out of that. But we don't see any fees at closing. Those all get passed on to the buyer.
Okay, cool. Even the settlement fees.
Correct.
Interesting. Now, the other question I've got is, you've got this deal with the seller. What happens if the buyer gets cold feet and he goes, "No, I don't want to do this anymore," and you've still got a contract with the seller? What happens then?
Yeah, so that puts you in a pretty tight situation, which is why you want to make sure, if you're doing this, that your buyers are really solid. Verifying that they have some sort of a track record in what they're doing. Just, knowing that and understanding that they have the money to do it. I've never had that happen because I have gone through and vetted my buyers. Um, if that does happen, then you're in a pretty tight spot where you have to go back to the seller and say, hey, we can't close on this for one reason or another. And if you're past your due diligence deadline and you have some earnest money in escrow, then they'll keep your earnest money. Or
Okay.
maybe you can get an extension on it or something like that.
The earnest money is the deposit that you pay on the deal.
Yes.
So the risk is that you could lose your deposit, or you would have to buy the property. Would you or not?
It depends on the deal. Honestly, on most deals that I've wholesaled, I probably wouldn't, either because they're just too far away from me. Well, usually just because they're too far away from me. I actually do try to close on the ones that are local to me myself first.
Yeah.
Because I also do the fix and flipping and that kind of stuff as well. So it's just, if it's out of my geographical area, I probably won't want to purchase it unless it's a very quick and easy flip.
Interesting. And the other question I've got, what's in it for the seller who's paying the 20K markup? Why do they ever go, why don't I just deal with this guy and it'll save me 20 grand?
Usually the seller is just looking for speed and convenience.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference, is that, we'll be the ones who are getting in touch with them directly.
Yeah.
It typically isn't. I mean, we've wholesaled on market deals. We actually just closed on one yesterday that was on the market. But typically, pretty much every other deal that I've done is off market, where we're just talking directly with the sellers. A lot of times they just won't be really wanting to go out and get all these different, different quotes and see, they just want someone who's going to come in and be confident to buy the place and see that they have some sort of a track record and know that it's going to be a smooth transaction.
I get it. So the they want somebody that's going to do all the legwork, secure a property, and then if they like what they see, they want to just go ahead with it. Obviously, you're not dealing with people who are going to nitpick over fees and stuff. They want the convenience, and the benefit of this over just contacting a local agent to get you a property is that then you got to go run around all over town viewing properties, and it's just a huge pain in the ass. And they want somebody that's just going to go bang, bang, bang. I've found a good property. And the other benefit is that the properties are not listed yet, so there's an opportunity to get them from your end a little bit under market value. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the real value is in finding the stuff that's like on market. Some of those hidden gems that are out there. A lot of times they'll just be properties that are, we've dealt with ones that have like family issues, for example, like, the owner's sister will live there and she's not paying rent and she's not communicating with anyone. So they're going to have to go evict their sister. Who wants to evict their sister? So what they do is they just sell it outright for cash,
I got you. Yeah, there's a few. So how do you find that the hardest bit would be finding houses to sell? I'd imagine that'd be what you worry about every day. How do you go out and find these properties?
Yeah, so we do, we do a lot of cold calling. So we'll just have pretty big lists of homeowners who have some certain criteria, whether it's like that they aren't living at the property itself, or they have just owned it for a very long time, or it's going through some sort of issues like probate, pre-foreclosure, something like that. Something that gives a motivating factor and them wanting to sell their house quickly. So we usually get most of our deals from cold calling. I also do a lot of partnerships with other people who are looking to get into the business, where I'll just work with them. They'll do a lot of that marketing themselves, find those deals, and then I'll walk the whole thing from start to finish with them, and we'll basically just split the deal 50-50.
Awesome. Well, it's an interesting way to go. And if you're looking to get yourself an investment property, maybe at a really good price, and have somebody do all of the legwork for you. And do you work all around the States, or not just in Utah, is it?
Yeah, I used to only do like local stuff, but recently we've been doing more stuff around the country. So I've closed deals in Connecticut, New Mexico, Texas, Utah, and we're kind of just growing that right now to do more national stuff, because there's nothing really preventing me from getting a deal done in a different state. So
I guess once you did that first one on the other side of the country, you would just be thinking, "Wow, this is easy," and there's a lot more opportunity. Sometimes the local market might be bad, and you can easily look, somewhere else and keep moving. Very interesting, Jeremy. Thank you very much for sharing that information. If you want to have a chat with Jeremy at Scout Peak, I've got the details in the show notes. And you can have a call with Jeremy. Is that what happens there? They put in their email and phone number, and you give them a ring, and you tell Jeremy what you want, and he'll find you a property.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. It's mostly investors, Jeremy, or is it for people that want to buy a house to live in, or?
Yeah, I've worked with people who are just buying a house that they want to live in, because that's what we don't just work with investors. We also work with most people who are just looking to buy their house, and maybe get a good solid deal on it.
Yeah.
Because most Americans' wealth is in their properties. So we absolutely work with just your average person looking to get into a home as well.
Yeah, man, I like the idea of getting a list of properties perhaps that are not on the market, because once they're on the market, you've got all these people coming and bidding against you, and you've got other agents, and I reckon the value is getting some of these properties that are thinking of selling but haven't actually made the plunge yet, and they want to do it because they want to do it fast. It could, it's not going to take forever to settle. So very interesting stuff. So thanks. Let's have a round of applause for Jeremy Bourgeois. Yay! Awesome. Well, get in touch with Jeremy if that is something you're interested in. It is a very interesting topic. I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you, Jeremy, and thanks for listening and watching, everyone.